Holy greetings to you all. This is Minister DeAndre from the Disciples of Christ Bible Ministries Incorporated. This ministry is about bringing forth the true, uncut Word of God. We are about empowering, teaching, loving, impacting, and bringing lost souls out of spiritual darkness into the marvelous light. We pride ourselves on keeping and teaching the commandments of God and the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach, commonly known as Jesus Christ. We are reaching out to make more disciples of Christ through the power and anointing of the Holy Ghost. You can find us on YouTube at Disciples of Christ 12 or email us at thedisciplesofchrist12@gmail.com. Peace and blessings to you all.
My special guest is Dabar Emiel Shakur. How you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing very well, Brother Sal. I just want to thank you for accepting my request to talk about this lesson. You know, I think it's a very important one. And, I hope I hold up to the legacy of this show. It's such a wonderful show. I listen to it all the time, you know what I mean? And everybody that listens in, I'm pretty sure they agree with me. So, I'll just go ahead and get started. I want to say all praises.
Yeah, hold on, brother. Hold on. Before you get started, hold on. Let the brothers get a little bio about you out there, because we got thousands of listeners tuning in right now. So let people know a little bit about you, where you're from, stuff like that, how long you've been studying, are you a teacher? Let us know about you a little bit.
Well, I don't have an established ministry, and I just get in where I fit in, you know what I mean? The only people that really know me are my debate buddies on Facebook, and, I've done lessons on YouTube and things like this, but it's not as well established as the more mainstream teachers and things like that. But I'm originally grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and, I work here and I ministry here, out in the public and things like this to different churches and try to straighten out kind of the situations that they be talking about. It's kind of funny right now.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So how's the people out there of Israel doing out there? Are the people learning out there from you, or have you seen any growth out there?
We have a couple of schools out here. We have the ICG JC out here, and they're strong. They're strong in the faith, and they're pretty accurate on many things that they talk about. I disagree with a lot of mainstream situations, but it's one love with everybody. It's a lot of learning going on out here. Fayetteville's strong.
All right, cool, man. Well, we're about to get this thing started, guys. And everybody know, if you have any questions or comments, you know the number. The number is 646-716-7320. That's 646-716-7320. Make sure if you're on the internet, tell a friend that we're live on the air. So send a tweet out there. Facebook, let everybody know that Debate Talk for You is live on the air. All right, Dabar, brother, the show is yours, brother. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just want to say that this is not only my first time being on this show, but my first time on any public show. So, and I'm a little under the weather, so I might be talking like that guy on Fat Apple with the with the thing on that goes abba dabba doo and all that stuff, because my nose is kind of stuffy right now. But I'm going to start by saying all praises to the supreme power who created all things, the supreme power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, supreme power of Israel. And I hope to honor the show with this by this lesson. Everyone who hears this show knows how wonderful the presentations are and how organized and fair the format is. Of course, that's just a reflection of the humble professional host. My name is Dabar Emiel Shakur. Dabar Emiel Shakur. Those who can read or write Hebrew, they know precisely what that means, but I'm Hebrew illiterate, so I hodgepodge the meaning of it for the audience. It means Nazi means prince, Davar means word, Amiel means my mother is power or my people are power. I prefer mother because I feel it's essential to restore the feminine side of the Israelite record that was purposely removed in order to cause females to turn away from the record and reject the valuable lessons in the history in it. So Shakur means black. So my hodgepodge initial for my Hebrew name is Prince Word. My mother is Black Power. I kind of like that. So the topic I'm discussing is an important topic that stands out in my mind by my observation of people who are new to accepting the Torah and the gospel and the history and all that, what that entails. See, I noticed that, first of all, the reading tonight is going to be from the 1611 and the Tanakh, just to get people prepared with their 1611. They can pull that up on their computers, and they can pull the Tanakh up online as well, and follow along with the reading in the later lesson. Now, I noticed that the new people and immature people in the faith, they can be in there for years and still be immature about this. The whole biblical scenario in sort of like a bubble. From what I've seen, new people to the faith and even people that's been here for years, for lack of a better term, they treat the biblical scenario in a kind of like a fantasy way. An example of this is the Christian church's apostasy of rejecting laws detailed in the Bible. Now, when a realist studies the construct of all societies, they learn that all law comes from the supreme power and recorded by men and women to govern those societies. If that is true, and it is, then the accuser's laws make their way into society as well. So the laws handed down by Satan, they get into societal governing. Hold on 1 second, Brother Sal.
All right, no problem. Once again, you're live listening to Debate Talk for you guys. The title of this show is Getting Money Biblical? Is Getting Money Biblical? You know the number is 646-716-7320. That's 646-716-7320. My special guest is Dabar Shakur. The chat room is officially open, guys. If you want to interact with me or others, make sure you go online at www.blogtalkradio.com/debatetalkforyou, and you can utilize the chat room to interact. Once again, this is my brother's first time, like you said, teaching a lesson on the show. And, Debate Talk views by equal opportunity. Like I said, so, send me a message, and I'm going to give you a shout out here. And, let's see what goes on. But you can go ahead, brother.
Okay, well, like I was saying, everybody realizes that that studies law and things like this and the construct of societies, that the supreme power gives the laws to the men. And the men and women, and they record those laws in order to govern society. So if that's true, and it is, then there's also another power, an accuser, an adversary to the supreme just power. And this is, you can kind of consider him a supreme evil power. So people adhere to him just as faithfully as they do the supreme just power. So if he sends down laws, or they, men and women and on that side as well, they send down information in the form of laws and any type of societal constructs to the men and women. They record that, and it weaves its way into society as well. So it's a constant struggle between these two things in real life. It's not, the fantasy way that people kind of make it. So that's just one example. There's countless others, but getting back to this discussion for tonight, we often hear money is the root of all evil. Now, it's a well-known quote. Everybody knows this quote, and it's very well accepted, and it makes people look at the Bible as like, why would biblical people think like that? Anybody that hasn't read or studied the Bible, they're going to look at Christians, Israelites, or anybody in the faith, a Jewish or any Abrahamic religion that's kind of based on the Bible. They would say, why would they say that money is the root of all evil, as important as money is? So, but the actual quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil. You don't have to be a scholar to rephrase that to greed is the root of all evil. So naturally, the root grows from the seed of rebellion, corruption, rejection, hate for the lessons that the supreme power left us. The whole construct of life is based on acquiring and consuming resources so that life can flourish. And so, no, again, money is not the root of all evil. Greed is. It's an important distinction to make because people new to the faith and immature in the faith have this exact view of the Bible. So since money is so important to people and it is so important to society and world governing, and city governing or household governing, then everyone realizes how important it is. Then it puts an ill-gotten reputation on the record called the Bible and everything attached to it, the church, Israel's supreme power, and that being human family on earth. So this misnomer should be stamped out of the memory of the listener tonight. Whenever a person realizes that greed is the root of all evil versus money is the root of all evil, a mental shift occurs and they begin to see many things differently. You know what I mean? So one example I want to bring up, I want to bring this up because this is another kind of like branch of the importance of getting money and how the Bible condones this. Whenever Israel left, before they were a nation, but when they left Egypt, they had acquired all types of gold and resources and stuff from the people and took it out into the wilderness with them. And then when they went around for 40 years walking around in circles, the gold was basically useless to them. They couldn't go and buy food and things like this, you know what I mean? So they couldn't grow food in the desert, but they were still provided for. They had plenty of water, plenty of food, and that was supernaturally given to them. So I don't want people to mix up this lesson with some type of prosperity doctrine saying that there's only one law from God, and that's to pay tithes, and then once you pay tithes, then you are going to be given back 1,000-fold and all this stuff here. You know what I mean? I want to make a clear distinction about that and say that even if you choose not to be a millionaire, for example, if you choose to just work and live your day-to-day life and things like this, and whenever you lack and you are in the good graces of the supreme power, then you will be provided for even if you're lacking. You know what I mean? And that's another thing I just wanted to emphasize. And I want to go ahead into the Bible reading, and I'm not going to go delve deeply into it, but I'm going to talk about some verses that mention money and show that it's not, again, just to drive home the point that money is not the root of all evil, but greed is. Okay. I'm going to be reading from Proverbs 6 and 8. Am I still here? You can hear me, Brother Sal, right? Brother Sal.
You still here, brother? I'm still here. You're live on air. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in Proverbs 6 through 8. Okay. It says, wait a second. Let me pull it up here. Reading out of the Tanakh, Ketuvim. I chose this one because, Tanakh is just a better translation anyway because they changed one key word from the newer versions, and they changed chief to guide, and chief clarifies some things, when it comes to the tribal nature of the whole Bible. So you have Proverbs 6, verse 6 through 8. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise, which having no chief, overseer, or ruler, provideth her bread in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. Okay. But I want to open up discussion. Is that possible? And then I'll be reading.
Okay, we can go there. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, if you want to, comment about this particular topic, is Getting Money Biblical? Now is your time. What's person number 1? The number is 646-716-7320. Is Getting Money Biblical? Let me know what you guys think about that. Once again, press number 1. Now add you to the conversation. I see where it has somebody that's pressing number 1 right now. But once again, if there's anybody else that have any questions, you know the number is 646-716-7320. Let your voice be heard. Let us know what you think about this particular topic. All right, let's go to the first person here. 315-863. You're live on the Bay Talk for you.
Yeah, shalom. This is Sound Mind, representing the Right of Instruction, Syracuse, New York.
Hey, shalom.
Shalom. I just had a couple comments, and if the brother wants to, we could discuss some things. But I just wanted to get his take. His take on he's saying that like money isn't the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. That's what he said. The love of money, which is the greed. And then also he made a point that Israel like needed money to flourish. I think that's what he said. If I'm misquoting him, he could definitely correct me on that. But he said something about money was important in their economic system, and that they always depended on it. But I was wondering, how did he feel about before Israel got into their captivities? Their whole thing was consumption of the Most High gave them the earth, and the earth to provide all of their needs, wood to provide fire and housing, all the plants to provide food, all the animals to provide food, and herbal remedies and things of that nature. So before money even came into play, Israel was already still surviving and producing and trading without money. So is getting money biblical? Yes, money is biblical, but do we need it to survive today? Is what I would like to ask the brother, because my stance is I don't think that people need money to survive today. And if we were to go back to the earth and the natural resources that it provides for us, then the world would be a better place.
Go ahead, Dabar. You can reply. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, there's no disagreement here with that, because what the brother said was absolutely correct. And because, see, money has been redefined by Satan to mean some type of paper, you know what I'm saying, that everyone agrees upon, that we can trade around and things like this. But actually money is the resources of the earth, you know, growing food, the gold and precious metals, the heavy earth metals, you know, like thorium and all kinds of other heavy earth metals that provide energy, you know. But Satan, doggone, what does he do? Focus on, like, for example, the heavy earth metals. He focuses on the uranium. Why? Because it decays and becomes a weapon. You see, the thorium does not decay like that and is a more sustainable energy source for the world. You know what I mean? So if we focus on the resources instead of the paper, he's exactly right. The world would be so much more wholesome, you know, for lack of a better term.
Okay, definitely. So, what is your take on people coming out of the American system and actually starting to build houses and things and provide for themselves and get land and provide off the land? Is that biblical as well? Should we, as Christians or Hebrew Israelites, try to, you know, leave the American system, which is built off of greed and built off exploitation and things of that nature?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a great question. It's kind of deep. Actually, see, the entire earth is under the American system that you're referring to. There's only like 3 countries left that are not in Satan's corruption and all that stuff. So wherever you go, you're going to be up under that type of oppression. So
yeah, capitalism. The world is one big capitalistic system.
Right. So whenever the word tells you to come out of her, it means for us to come back to the laws and statutes and commandments. You know, have faith in Christ that He fulfilled those laws, statutes, and commandments, and that we can do them as well. And then, as so many people think like God and do what God does, then everything will fall into place properly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so okay, so your take on Revelation 18:4, where it says, "Come out of her, my people, and receive not any of her plagues." Do you think that that's a spiritual come out of her, and not a physical come out of capitalism system and build your own houses and things of that nature and plant food for yourself?
Because see, the spiritual and physical is intertwined. When you calibrate your mind and spirit and body with the supreme power, then, like it says, your footsteps are guided. You do all the physical. All the physical things follow the mental. You see what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because I was talking to somebody and I got that same thing about the intertwined, because they said, like, once you come out of it spiritually, you start to, take care of your body more. You start to look for herbal remedies more. You start to fall off from genetically modified foods and things of that nature. You try to be more natural in your walk of life. Like, told me about their experiences and things once they come into the knowledge of the truth of the commandments. But also, there's there's two sides to every story. Another side is that if a physical come out of her, like, we should really come out of her and really build our own houses, our own land, instead of using money to do these things. Do you feel that money, like, you can get salvation living in a capitalistic system which oppresses the people, which is sin in itself? Do you believe that is possible?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people who are saved right now and are successful in this system. See, from my view, from my perspective, from how the beginning to now progressed, is all guided by the Most High, under His authority, under His plan, and I don't see too many mishaps that Satan is going to be winning this situation. So once the people on the whole get calibrated with that type of thinking, then the kingdom of God manifests itself through the physical. Houses are built. The system that's in place right now, even the capitalistic system that's kind of oppressive, right? It's only oppressive because the wrong people have the wrong mentality pulling the levers. You see, we can go up into these things that God has established on this earth and rise up in those ranks and pull the levers properly. Because we'll have the holy mind, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely think that the people pulling levers have the wrong things in mind. I definitely think that if we were to have money and the right people in place and doing the right things for the right people, the world could be a better place. And with money, with the monetary system that we have, with the Federal Reserve System and things of that nature. But seeing the fact that the matter is we don't, and the world is giving over to Satan's hand right now. This is his playground. So he has the wicked ruling it right now. Do you think that we should either get out of this system or try to get into basically what you were saying about climbing up the ladder and trying to change the system within the system, or should we just start a whole new system?
It would be wholly my opinion and not like biblically based per se, but based on my studies and of the systems and my biblical foundation and thinking and hoping that I'm calibrated with the Holy Spirit and all this, the system that's in place, continue to educate as much as possible, get everybody on one accord, and utilize the system that's in place.
Okay, I understand. But I want to just bring out a couple precepts real quick, just to get your understanding on them. And I just want real quick. All right, this is Leviticus 19 and 13. Now, we know that in the capitalistic system, people get paid weekly, bi-weekly, or sometimes once a month if you want, like, Social Security and things of that nature. But here's Leviticus 19 and 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. So right here we have God telling the children of Israel, when you hire somebody, that the wages that you're supposed to give him, they shouldn't depart with you all night. They shouldn't be with you all night. Basically, you got to give him his pay when the job is done, before the sun goes down. How do you feel about the Most High's laws concerning wages, and then looking at the capitalistic system and knowing that people get paid once a week when they work 40 hours, probably 5 days a week? And how do you feel? Should they be paid day by day according to the laws, or should we continue in the system of once a week, biannually, or sometimes once a month?
Well, yeah, you tapped into a very important part of this lesson. Now, the construct of the entire system that we're in right now, that of course is basically in the entire world, except for like 3 countries left that we're currently invading to make them up under this commercial system. The whole commercial system is based on Torah, so those laws are already in place. You know, they're the Uniform Commercial Code. So Torah has set up this entire system, and who's banking on it is the guys, the Jewishers. So once everybody starts to realize what's really going on, I mean, we can set it up ourselves, but it would probably take another 300 years in order for it to work properly. You know what I mean? So the best thing to do is to just go, okay, open up a bank. You know what I mean? Rise up in the ranks. Okay, now we're on the head of the IMF. We're on the board of the IMF and all that other stuff. I don't know if it's just a private family that can get in there, because it is a private company. But I don't know. Maybe we have to set up our own. I don't know how that works on that part, because I can't see anybody infiltrating those higher ranks in that commercial system. But it is based on Torah. So once everybody realizes where that came from and who we are, then I think things will change drastically.
All right, well, Salman, you actually have somebody else behind you, brother. Once again, I appreciate your call. And that's person number 1 again, if you want to have another question or comment. But once again, the title of this show is Getting Money Biblical? Is Getting Money Biblical? You know the number, 646-716-7320. Now is your time. Make sure you call in with your question and your comments, or forever hold your peace. Let's go to the next person, 817-532. You're live on Debate Talk View.
Shalom. Hey, I heard the brother say that this current system is did he say perfect, but the wrong people are in charge? Is that what I heard him say?
No, I said it works.
Oh, you said it works?
Yeah, but see, the only imperfection that can occur in any reality is to be the supreme power and those lessons, and his lessons. So that's the imperfection that occurs in the supreme power system that he has put in the universe, especially on this earth that we're focusing on right now, you know what I'm saying, and America that we're focusing on, and the commercial code that we're focusing on. That's his system. The idiots get it and see how powerful it is, and they go in there against the supreme power's lessons all the way through, you know what I mean? But the system is so firmly based on Torah that they can't get around it too much.
So you're saying the current system, which I heard y'all brothers say is the capitalist system, is based on Torah. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Now,
when you look up the maxims, when you look up the maxims of the commercial code, you'll see it. I mean, we know the law, so it's very clear.
Okay. Well, Torah says that you are to be your brother's keeper. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Capitalism is based on competition, and in competition, you're fighting for yourself. You're stepping on your brother to get ahead. You understand what I'm saying? In our competition, you're trying to be ahead of everybody else. It's not so much you're your brother's keeper. So I'm just trying to understand how this current system. I mean, even the laws in this system are built to oppress people. So I was having a difficult time understanding how you understand that this current system.
Yeah, like I was saying in the opening statement, the oppressive laws come from Satan. They're handed down from Satan. The righteous laws, the holy laws, they come from the supreme power of Israel. So this is a constant struggle in the law system, as well as the monetary system. So, like, for example, let me see, when Christ was talking to some of the apostles, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was talking to some of the apostles, he said, whoever serves the best is the greatest among you. So when you look at the competition in the monetary system, it keeps costs down because you want to have a lower price than the next man, and then you want to have a better quality if you're doing the same like a similar product. You want to have better quality, a lower price. So you know what I'm saying? You're serving the people that's trying to get a hold of this product better than the next man. So that competition is, it's okay to be competitive.
That's why I disagree, because competition in your sense, you really don't own nothing. You're looking from a business standpoint, which 90% of the people do not own businesses. So the 90% that don't are in competition for jobs. So not only does it drive down, like you said, prices for the business owners, but competition in the labor market drives down wages. So that's why. So if just imagine this: if everybody was employed, which capitalism can't do, because actually capitalism is the only system where it thrives off of unemployment. Because in the slave system, if you have one slave not working, you're losing capital, you're losing material. You need everybody working. In the communal society, if it was just like a tribal society, one man not working hurts the whole community. You need every man working. But in the capitalist system, okay, you need unemployment, because if everybody was employed in the capitalist system, if I was to quit my job because I feel, if everybody was employed and I was to threaten my boss with leaving because I feel underpaid, he would either have to pay me or he would have to lose that position because there is nobody else. There is no pool I can pull from for another employee. So I hold the power. But capitalists need unemployment because the capitalists want the power. So if you ask for a raise, they could either cut you and pick somebody up and pay them less than what you wanted. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that drives wages down as far as the common working class. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of you asking for your, just say $15 an hour and you're making, say, 11, they can say bye-bye to you and pick somebody up and pay them $8, because it's a whole pool of unemployed people that are dying to just get a job and work for any price. So they can bring somebody in and pay them $8 an hour. And this is what's going to continually happen in all the jobs in the capitalist system. It's going to currently be driven down because of the competition.
Okay, well, let me ask you something. You think that the business owners, like say for any type of corporation or anything, do you think that their personal lives are based on Torah or based on something else?
It's based on something else.
Okay, so now I'm trying to show that the system itself is, I mean, that's already well known that it's based on Torah from the maxims themselves. So when these guys with opposing personal views come in, they say, greed. I want all the money, so I'm going to lower all the wages. And then, see, all that thinking is counterproductive. That's nothing but greed interjected, so that's Satan's influence on the market. Now, if you have, let's say all those factories, all the factories that's been shut down over the years since the 70s and things like that. Now, all the companies that's been sent over to India and Mexico and all kinds of other places, you know, China and all that stuff. Now, if they were still here in the United States and people personally went step by step with the application of Torah into their business, complement the capitalistic system. If all those companies were still here and they chose to raise wages, all that money would still be pumped into the system over and over and over again. So where they would not have to go to try to find some slaves over there in Mexico, which is already against Torah anyway, because nobody's supposed to enslave an Israelite.
Exactly, but like you said, the capitalist system isn't built that way. The capitalist system, over time, puts in laws to maximize profit. That's the thing. So, of course, we're going to put in a NAFTA agreement to take all these manufacturing jobs and ship them overseas to jobs where they can pay them $2 an hour. Because
so did you just say that they amended the capitalistic system in order to propagandize, or whatever the word is, to send those jobs overseas?
Well,
you say they corrupted the capitalistic system with NAFTA.
What I'm saying is it's inherent, it's inherent in capitalism. Like if it
so you're saying that capitalism produced the NAFTA agreement?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. I don't know. You might get a point. I don't know.
I just wanted to bring that to light. So I mean, in Moses' law, you know, you couldn't put no trespass signs up around your land. But in a capitalist society, everything is privately owned. In Torah, everything is socially owned, meaning even though you're steward over a land, you cannot glean all the fruits off. You have to. It's law that you leave some for the poor in the land. You understand what I'm saying? But in this country, you could fence off your land, and it would be against the law for somebody to come and glean off your land. So I just
passed the law that it's something about in Georgia or something like that it's illegal to give bums money and stuff on the street.
Exactly. So I just wanted to bring that up. Go ahead and do your thing, man, and I'll continue to listen.
Okay, appreciate you.
I appreciate your call, brother. And once again, you're now listening to Debate Talk for You Radio. The title of this show is Getting Money Biblical. Is Getting Money Biblical? Once again, great dialogue between the special guests and my listening audience out there. You know the number is 646-716-7320. Feel free to call in with any questions or comments. Let your voice be heard. All right. There's nobody else pressing number one right now, Brother Dabar, but you're doing good so far, brother. Doing pretty good.
Thank you. I just hope I'm led by the Spirit. That's all. Yeah. The man kind of got me on that one point, man. I was like, wow, you know, I didn't realize that the capitalistic system could have possibly produced NAFTA like that. You know what I mean? But in my mind, the wicked are so deep in the system, you know, and what you call it, they conspire together so on one accord so greatly that they interjected that into us. You know, they just over time interjected many different changes to the capitalistic system that watered down and caused these problems that we're having today.
Now, when it comes to this topic, is Getting Money Biblical, automatically you got to think about community, you know, and the system of how we can circulate money within our community. Is there anything in your lesson pertaining to this situation as far as our community and how it's going to circulate?
I mean, you're talking to a doggone. I mean, you might as well be alone in a coliseum somewhere trying to tell people to buy black and things like that. They just do not hear. They don't hear it. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right, brother. So you go ahead and bring out some more stuff out. You know, we have people listening in. So, and once again, people, if you have any questions, guys, that's person number 1, and I'll add you to the conversation. Dabar, you can go ahead.
Okay, we're in Proverbs 21:5. Proverbs 21:5. See, I'm still trying to make a distinction, you know, between the greed and the money. The capitalistic system is based on the money. The greed is interjected by wicked people. And so you have in Proverbs 21:5. Okay, again, I'm reading from the Tanakh. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteous, but everyone that is hasteth. Then we're going to go to the next verse will be Proverbs 22:3. A prudent one foresees the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. So these are concepts on like budgeting. You see what I mean? So if you're prudent with your money, your resources, which I have to make that distinction between the fiat situation that we're going through and the resources of the land and food and cattle and things like that. So if you're prudent, you know, you can foresee the evil that's trying to hide itself. That's why it's kind of clear to me that the wicked men manipulated the system, you know what I mean, that's based on Torah, of course. We can go ahead. Anybody else?
I don't see anybody else pressing number 1. So,
okay.
You know, it's on you, brother.
Go ahead and finish reading 24:3 and 4, Proverbs 24:3 and 4. Through wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established, and by knowledge the room shall be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. So, like, as I was saying, with the new people to the faith, or someone who's never read or studied the Bible, they say that money is the root of all evil. And then they look at us and be like, why would they accept this type of thinking? It's all in the Bible. Well, no, it's not. The Bible trains us to have money. All the prophets back in the day were very wealthy people. You know what I mean? It just so happens that chose to be poor, I suppose. You know what I mean? And that's the only really poor person I saw in there. You know, because when his apostles took over the church, everybody was giving them all their property. So they were very wealthy. You know, also it was the community. It was just like the brother said. It was shared. It was a social system. So I don't know where people get the idea. You know, the new people and people who are outside of the faith and look from the outside in and look at us like something strange is going on here. Like, no. People who study this situation, we appreciate money. We just don't worship it like the wicked do. Now, in Proverbs 25:28, he who has no rule over his own spirit is like a broken down city without a wall. That goes back to budgeting as well. So you have to rule over, you have to discipline yourself with, like another verse would say, if you're diligent with a small amount of money, you'll be granted large amounts of money. So, I mean, that's just a natural principle of getting money. You have to be diligent and prudent in the small amount. That is what adds up to larger sums of money. Okay. Let's go to Proverbs 27:12. A prudent man sees evil and hides himself. A naive proceed and pay the penalty. Proverbs 27:23. Know well the face of your flocks and pay attention to your herds. Okay. So you gotta be aware of the streams of income that are coming in to your situation. You know what I mean? Because right now we are kind of forced to use the fiat money, you know, the Federal Reserve note, and you need to study the system. You need to study what's going on. You need to know the foundation of it. You need to know how it got manipulated. You know, you need to know how it works for us and how it works against us. All right. For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he may have enough to finish it, lest perhaps after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all those seem being to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Okay, that would be kind of embarrassing. So, majority of people have not built a tower. You know what I mean? So, whenever you're building streams of income for yourself, like, it's all based on, like, owning a business, really. You know what I mean? Because if you're farming, if you're raising cattle and things like this, you're not actually working for the man. You see what I mean? So that it trains you to be a businessman, to be independent, you know. And the more independent people we have that are in line with Torah and the Holy Spirit and things like this, the better. You see what I mean?
Yeah, just let you know we have more questions in the queue whenever you're ready.
Okay, yeah, we can go ahead and open up.
All right, let's go to the people. Everybody know the number. Once again, it's 646-716-7320. For those people that just joined in, welcome to the show, guys. Welcome. The title of this show is Getting Money Biblical. Is Getting Money Biblical? My special guest is Dabar Shakur. This is his first time actually presenting a lesson or teaching out here on Debate Talk for You. I'm doing pretty good so far. Let's go to the people. Let's see what they got to say. 770-648. You're live on Debate Talk for You.
Hey, shalom. It's a Swartzman. Yeah, I just want to make a comment to add to the brother. Like being in this society and dealing with different people, I see a lot of people worship money. Like they sacrifice their life to their job and just keep getting and getting and getting. I want to read the scripture in Apocrypha to show the importance, what the place of money, what the purpose of money is, but what's the true importance of life. And this is Ecclesiastes 40, verse 25. It says, gold and silver make up the foot stand sure. That's the purpose of gold and silver. Because money, paper money is just a note saying that I owe you a piece of gold. That's where the paper money come from. Then it says, but counsel is esteemed above them all, above them both. To have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding supersede money. Because if you have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, money's going to come. Then it says, riches and strength lift up the heart, but the fear of the Lord is above them all. Because that's very heavy, because if this society can crash at any minute where money can vanish, okay, and you have to survive. But the Lord will always be there. And people make money like the number one thing in their life, and they live and kill and murder for it. But they don't realize it's not that important when it comes to the Most High. It's not important at all when it comes to the Most High. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate your call. Dabar, you want to reply?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no argument here because the Most High does not need money whatsoever. His people do not need money whatsoever when it comes to the paper money. We pretty much need resources to eat and things like this, you know. But as far as obtaining them, you know, it's all based on you have to have that wisdom first. Now, even if you were to go take it further and further and further and be sanctified and holified and be holy and receive power from on high through the Holy Spirit and all these things, if you do not work at, you know, if you work strictly for the supreme power by going around healing people and telling people that you know their sins are forgiven, You need to learn how not to sin. You need to do this, that, and the third, and straighten people out, and these things like this. If you lack in that job, that's your job. That's your duty. Actually, that's the whole duty of man, is to do these things. So whenever you start lacking the fake money that they done put in the system, then the Most High will doggone put that money in your mailbox. He'll put it up under your mattress or something. Thousands of dollars if you need it. You know what I mean? So he invented all this stuff. He don't need it at all. And we're supposed to make friends with this wicked money too. You know what I mean? We holding on and hoarding the money. Somebody comes along, they need a genuine need. Not be ran over and just give all your money away to dummies who's abusing the money. But if somebody comes along with a genuine need and they are following, trying to be righteous and things like this, you help them out immediately. Especially if the enemy comes along, you give them twice as much, so they will not come back and use it against you. You see, that's how you make friends out of your enemies.
Yep.
I appreciate your call, brother. And once again, you know the number, 646-716-7320. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call in. The show is all about the listening audience interaction with the special guests. So once again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to call in or forever hold your peace. You know the number, 646-716-7320. I'm getting some emails, a lot of emails actually, at debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. And by the way, for those people out there that's listening via phone or online, if you want to send me an email, once again, that's debatetalk, the number 4, and the letter U @gmail.com. I'm going to read one email out to you right now, Dabar. The lesson that you're presenting tonight, how is it any different from the Sunday church, Brother Dabar? You can reply to that.
Okay, well, wow. Let me see here. The Sunday church, they a lot of mainstream Sunday church, the loudest ones, the most promoted ones, they basically only have one law, and that's to pay tithes. All the other laws have been done away with. So when you pay tithes, then they go to Malachi and say, see if I won't pour out the blessings of heaven. But that's also coupled with all the rest of you're supposed to adhere to everything else too. So my distinction from them is that you need to adhere to all the lessons that are in the Bible that we're supposed to do, because this is the protocol of success. It's the only way to be successful is to adhere to all the lessons in the Torah. You know what I mean? And New Testament is based on Torah, so it just emphasizes Torah.
Yeah, because a lot of the emails I'm receiving, a lot of people are actually comparing, this lesson with, for this, like you said earlier, it's not about the prosperity, movement or something like that. But a lot of people that's emailing me right now are, trying to compare it to the prosperity movement, and
yeah.
Things of that nature.
Well, I was hoping I was making it kind of clear that the people who don't study the Bible and don't read the Bible or are brand new to the faith, like they might have gone to church a couple times, right, and they were so moved that they gave their life to Christ, but they haven't studied anything yet. There's a whole lot of set of quotes and colloquialisms that people say all the time that are absolutely basically satanic. You know what I'm saying? They're not biblically based at all. And the main one is that money is the root of all evil. People should realize that the God does not want you to be poor. You know what I mean? God said that there will be poor among you because, they're going to be ignorant and all kinds of things. Or they might just choose not to work or something, you know what I mean? But the Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. So you're poor based on your ignorance of all these things that are in the lessons. You have to master the lessons, and then you become successful automatically. I mean, it's like a video game. Once you learn all the moves, the success comes automatically.
Right. Right. Yeah, guys. Once again, you're now listening to Debate Talk Free Radio. Definitely an interesting topic. Is getting money biblical? Is getting money biblical? You know the number, 646-716-7320. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call in. And, of course, I'll add you into the conversation. If you already asked a question, just press the number 1 twice, and I'll bring you back in the conversation. All right, guys. Well, Dabar, you can go ahead. If you anything else you want to bring out, any more information you want to bring out, you can go ahead.
Yeah, we can go back to the scriptures, of course. If you go in 1 Corinthians 16:2, on the first day of every week, each one of you is to put aside and save as he may prosper, so that no collections be made when I come. Okay. What does that take? That tells me a lot. Scriptures, let's see here. If we go back to Leviticus, Leviticus 19:13, you shall not oppress your neighbor, nor rob him. Oh, the gentleman brought this out. The wages of a hired man are not to remain with you all night until morning. So, yeah, I think that would be a good idea to reinstate this into, as we mature as a nation and mature as a people, when we start opening all of our businesses and things, maybe we should pay each day. Deuteronomy 25:13-15. You shall not have in your bag differing weights, a large and a small. You shall not have in your house differing measures, a large and a small. You shall have a full and just weight. You shall have a full and just measure, that your days may be prolonged in the land which the Lord your God gives you. See, when people, like I said, the system has this inherently built into it, but the business owners panic. The Bible teaches us not to worry. And they're greedy, so they try to maximize and harm and oppress the employee and things like this. So they're the ones that are adjusting these weights improperly. You see what I mean? So we go to Job 31:13-14. If I have despised the claim of my male or female slaves when they filed a complaint against me, what then could I do when God arises? And when he calls me to account, what will I answer him? Let me read that again. If I have despised the claim of my male or female slaves when they filed a complaint against me, what then could I do when God arises? And when he calls me to account, what will I answer him? Okay. So you have servants, which would be slaves, or you can have actual slaves as property. Just got to be good to them because that's, we were trained the hard way. Well, our ancestors is not I guess some people may say that we're in slavery now, but I don't feel those deep, heavy chains and lashes on my back like our ancestors did. So that's kind of like for another show. But if you have these people working for you and they have a complaint against you, then you need to deal with it immediately. What the people do in this system with the law, the wicked people interject Satan's law and say, all right, you got to fill out this paperwork, and you got this mile of red tape in between your recompense for for the injustice that was done to you from the employer. You see what I mean? So it holds up the system that God put in place. That's why he wants us to get them out of there. Y'all need to move out the way because you don't know how to handle this stuff, because you don't know anything. You don't have any type of spirituality about you. You see what I mean? Now, Psalm 112:5. It is well with the man who deals generously and lends, who conducts his affairs with justice. Oh, man, I don't want to get into the lending, because then we got to talk about the banks. Then we got to talk about the Jewishers running all that whole system and profiting on what does not belong to them. And that identity theft, it's going to be recompensed, but, you know, people kind of get tired of waiting, and they shouldn't, because they're not supposed to. You know, they're just supposed to live their life the best they can and just keep it moving. You know what I mean? So I don't want to go too deep into that. Proverbs 11:11. A false balance is an abomination to the supreme power, but a just weight is his delight. So, like, I mean, I can go on and on. There's like 250 verses that I could bring out that show that my point is that the Bible and this lifestyle, this whole lifestyle, the way, the truth, and life, is not against being successful. It's not against being financially successful, I mean. You know, of course, people realize that we're trying to be spiritually successful, but that spiritual success produces financial success. And that's basically my point that I'm trying to drive home.
All right, my brother. You know, you did pretty good, man, for, you know, first time on Debate Talk for you, presenting our lesson, you know. Send me an email and everything. I appreciate you coming on the show. Any, like, social media information, if you want to reach out to you, anything you want to put out there, for people that want to reach out to you, maybe an email. Actually, hold on. We have a question for you. But, stand by, guys. We'll get to your questions. But put out your information, brother, if people want to reach out to you for more information.
Well, if you want to reach me, the best way to reach me is on Facebook. And again, the name is Dabar Emiel Shakur. If you look at the title on the show online, you'll see how it's spelled. It's Dabaremiel Shakur, Shakur. And that's the best way to reach me.
All right, so we got a few more questions. Let's go to the people. You know, the show is all about the people's interaction. Debate Talk for you. So let's go to the people. Once again, you know the number is 646-716-7320. We're coming to the final minutes of the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call in or forever hold your peace. Once again, the number is 646-716-7320. You're live on Debate Talk for you. Let's go to the people. 817-532. You're live on Debate Talk for you. 817-532.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just calling back in because I heard the brother say that he said he didn't feel like he was in slavery today. Is that correct, brother?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's different forms of slavery, you know what I'm saying? But the slavery that people argue that we're in today, it in my mind does not feel anything like what I know that our ancestors went through, bro. That's, you know, but that's another show.
Okay. Yeah, well, because basically what I was going to say is the only way you can make a living is if you find somebody to feed you, right? And that means you have to work or slave for them. Is that correct? Do you agree with that?
I don't think so, because when people get fed up with the system altogether and they go completely rogue and completely sovereign, you know, or they go completely independent, then they are like, even in some cases, they don't even have to get permits and licenses and things to go fishing and hunting and things like this. They just tell the governor or wherever they're going to be hunting that they have a right to eat. And you know, they go hunting and they go fishing and things like this, and they grow their food, you know, on their own. And they don't get in trouble about it. You know what I mean? Unless they stop paying taxes.
Okay. I see what you're saying. And as far as I'm trying to understand, because I came in about halfway through, you're saying getting money is legit according to the scriptures. I mean,
right.
Right.
Okay.
I think it's promoted. I think it's it's encouraged.
It's encouraged to give money. Okay. And the only way to give money really legally or justly, okay, there's only two ways to get just money. And that is if you labor for your money, because labor brings about value in money, or if you discover something, okay.
Mm-hmm.
As far as you just find a dang pot of gold or something and you come up that way, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as business, I just wanted to read this because I heard you say if we set up our own businesses, this, that, and the third. But I wanted to read it. I wanted to read this out the Apocrypha real quick, and it's Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 29, and then I'm gonna go into chapter 27 and read the first two verses of 27. Okay. Verse 29 says, "A merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong." Now we all know what a merchant is, right?
Mm-hmm.
A merchant is a businessman.
Right.
The Apocrypha says he shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong. And an husker shall not be free from sin. Now a husker is a salesman, or a vendor, somebody who's selling you something.
Mm-hmm.
The Apocrypha says a salesman or a vendor shall not be freed from sin. Why is that? Let me keep reading. It says, "Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away," meaning will turn his eyes away from the things that they don't understand about the law, just to seek abundance. And this is what I'm saying this society we live in is about. The root word capital is about capitalizing. You understand what I'm saying? But let me read verse 2. It says, "As a nail sticketh fast between joinings of the stones, so does sin stick close between buying and selling." Okay, now this is out the Apocrypha. So sin sticks close to business. You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people in business try to seek maximum profit. And in order to gain profit, you're going to have to exploit somebody. You understand? Because if you're doing a transaction, the only way a transaction could be just is if you do equal exchange for equal exchange, where nobody gets over on anybody. But in order to gain profit in a transaction, you have to rob somebody. You understand what I'm saying? And what do I mean by that? Imagine, just let me give you an example. If everybody in the world lived equally and we all lived off of $10, we all had $10. Our value was $10, everybody in the world. In order for me to come up and make my $10 go up, somebody's money has to dwindle. You understand? And in that case, that brings on oppression. You understand? I'm oppressing somebody so I could come up, meaning their money is getting low. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why you have to do due diligence in studying, business and how close it relates to sin, because people seek profit, and in seeking profit, you're going to be exploiting and oppressing another person unless you do business just. Now, the only way to do business just is if you put your full labor into it. You understand what I'm saying? If I did somebody's roof, I did my own work, okay? So they're going to give me what my work was worth. That's the only way I could really come up. But if I'm doing if I'm doing business, say, and I spent $5 on shirts. This was brought up to me a few months back. If I paid $25 for 5 shirts and I sold each shirt for $10, okay, the value of the shirt is only worth $5, but I defrauded my brother or my neighbor by saying it's $10 when the value is only really worth $5 just to come up. So the next man I did business with is going to pay me $10 for something that's actually worth $5. So I just defrauded my brother and really lied to the brother just so I can make a gain, and he's getting less value back than what he paid me. So I just wanted to bring that to the light as far as doing business. I mean, because it's key to understand, economics and how they closely relate to the scriptures. So I mean, as far as getting money, though, like your whole point about getting money, I think even that scripture, it says the love of money. It doesn't just say money, it's the love of money. And if you look up that word, it's one word in the Greek. The love of money is one word, which means avarice, okay? And if you look up avarice, it just means greed. So actually, in all, it means greed is the root of all evil. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you look at someone who rapes somebody, what does money have to do with me raping the next woman or a man raping the next woman? It really doesn't have much to do with money, but it has to do with greed and his greedy lust. So all evils in the world is simply self-interest and greed that is the root of all evil. So
that's right. That's right, bro.
So, yeah, keep doing your thing, brother. You did a good job, but I just wanted to hit on a few points. So.
Okay, I wanted to rebut that just a tad, because like you have in your scenarios of business, the variations in the charge that you place on a product or a service, right, are relative based on that person agreeing with you. Two men can't walk together unless they agree. So when, like, say, for example, you did the roof, right? Yeah. This guy, this roofing contractor over here, he might realize that this 100,000 there or this million there will pay 10 times what you're charging because you don't have any overhead and he has overhead. You know what I'm saying? But they would just naturally just pay that, you know, and they're not offended at all by it. You know what I'm saying? So a just scale would be if the man that you're serving, the product or service, agrees that this is a fair price in their mind and they don't feel disenfranchised by the charge, then that is a just transaction. You see what I mean?
Go ahead.
Okay, for example, like when you say the T-shirt situation, right? Okay, you got to grow the cotton. So then, boom, you got some labor costs right there.
Yeah.
Then you pick the cotton. That's some labor costs.
Go ahead.
First, you know what I'm saying? Then now you got to process the cotton. Then you got to take it in, put it in some trucks, and you got gas and all this, and people laboring, driving the trucks over here to the store. Then you got to take it out the box, and you got to, you know what I'm saying? So all these labor costs is adding up to a certain price, but I want to compare that to this one particular situation. Okay, there was a guy online some years back that made big news around the country or something. There was a site called Tradeit.com. So he had a doggone paperclip on his table, and he traded that for a piece of paper and traded that for a watch and traded that for something else. And then he had ran across a snow globe, and through his studies of that being involved in that system so heavy, he had remembered that some famous actor or something collects snow globes. So he traded the snow globe for a house. So was the guy who got the snow globe disenfranchised by that, or was he happy that he added to his collection with a unique snow globe? You see what I'm saying? So like you pick you mine a gold nugget, you fashion it into a watch. This man over here might pay $100 for that watch. This man over here might pay $25,000 for that watch. So all those different values are very relative to how happy the end consumer is.
Definitely. I definitely understand your point because I've heard that argument many times. And the thing is, the man who gave the house for the snowblower or whatever you just said understood he was losing in the process. But what I'm saying, and I'm going to give you an example in a minute, is when you
still a loss, even though he was happy about it.
Yeah, no, he knew he was losing. Who would trade a house for a dang snowblower? You know
right.
So he knew he was losing. But what I'm saying is, like you said, all that labor that goes into making a shirt, it was packaged and sold to me for $5. So all that labor that went into it was sold to me for $5. So all that labor and the value of that shirt is $5. So if I tell somebody, well, this shirt is $10, I'm defrauding, I'm lying, and I'm dealing falsely with my brother. You understand what I'm saying? Because the shirt is actually $5, but I put a price tag of $10. So even if he wanted the shirt, you understand, I'm still defrauding him because he doesn't know it's $5. If I told him it's really $5, don't you think the brother would pay the $5? Yeah. But let me just make this point because you brought up a good point.
Well, they have to put in extra money. You have to defraud your brother in order to make a living in this system.
In this system, that is correct. And just like all employers, okay. Let me just give you an example. If like say your employer hired you, do you think your employer pays you what you're worth when you work your job?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Why? Because if he paid you what you're actually worth, he wouldn't make any money. He would come out flat even. Because what you produce, you would get all that money, so he wouldn't make any money. So your employer.
We had a similar discussion about this earlier. Were you here for that?
I'm not sure.
Okay, because we were talking about how in my mind, if the employer pays you what you're worth, he would not lose. He would not. Their greed makes them think they're going to lose. It fools them.
No. If he paid everybody what they're worth, he would come out not making anything. You understand what I'm saying? So if he underpays you, this is where the capitalists or your bosses, this is where they make money because they pay you less than what you're going to bring in to the business for them. So, of course, and that's where oppression comes in. That's why this system is built on oppression because everybody, 95% of the workers in this country are paid less than the money they generate for the job. Now, if you were paid the amount of money you were generated for the job, that would be just. But since they're paying you less, they are defrauding you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Now let's focus on that for 1 second and say, let's go to Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
When they were coming up, they put in. Now I'm not saying Bill Gates and his partner are Torah based or anything like that, but when the commerce is Torah based, so that when they did this particular technique, which is paid the workers what they're actually worth, that's what made the company a $10 billion, $50 billion company. They paid them $250,000 a year and all this stuff. You know what I mean? What they're actually worth. That's exactly how it got so wealthy. So I'm trying to show you, in their mind, they think they're going to lose, when in actuality they won't.
Yeah, can you break that down? Like, because I'm
okay. The principle of paying a laborer what they're actually worth, which Torah tells you better do, caused Microsoft to be much more valuable than it would have been if they would have done the traditional wicked technique of making the labor cost as cheap and as low as possible so that they can maximize the profit. When they paid the workers what they're worth, the workers put 10 times more than they could have. And that equated to more money, more gross income for the company, and in turn, more profit for the company. It might have been a smaller profit margin. It might have been 10% or something like that instead of the 50% that these other wicked companies do. You know what I mean? But even that smaller profit margin made Bill Gates the richest man in the world at that time.
Yeah, let me go ahead.
Yeah, that's all. That's okay. What I was trying to say. I mean, because Malachi, to tell you right here, Malachi, this goes right hand in hand what we're talking about. Malachi, Okay.
Hold on. Let me just say this before you read Malachi. Because if I was to pay you what you're worth, right? Say I'm your boss, right?
Uh-huh.
You go out, take your old lawnmower, and go cut the neighbor's yard, right?
Uh-huh.
And you make $50. You are worth $50. You understand what I'm saying? But I pay you hourly, $9 an hour. So you only get $9 out of that $50. You didn't get what you're worth, $50. You got $9 because you cut a whole yard for $50 in 1 hour. So what I get off of you is $30 or $41. You understand what I'm saying? Doing nothing. So actually, I am oppressing you and exploiting you because the work you did was worth $50. So if I was to pay you what you were worth, you would have got the full $50, and I would have made nothing. That's what I'm saying as far as this whole system exploiting its workers. And I would never hire you to pay you $50 because I wouldn't make nothing. And that's the same with every business in America. Okay, so you're never paid what you're worth. No worker is in a capitalist society. But go ahead and read Malachi for us, bro.
Okay, Malachi 3:5. Then I will draw near for you. Excuse me. It's a lot. Malachi 3:5. I will draw near to you for judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers and against the adulterers and against those who swear falsely and against those who oppress the wage earner in his wages, the widow and the orphan, and those who turn aside the alien and do not fear me, says the supreme power of hosts. So that's a promise. So whenever people do that, that's what causes the business to not have the potential of the money that could be coming into that business. So if they were to do what they're supposed to do and pay the wager, the laborer what they're worth and all that, then the promise will be the blessing part of it instead of the curse. And that's what caused Microsoft to be so successful. They paid their laborers, they paid their laborers an extreme amount of money. Like they had the record payment for laborers back in that time.
Yeah, and I don't even disagree with that, brother. But what I'm saying is if they paid them what they were worth, the Bill Gates wouldn't be nothing because he would have gave all his money to the people who made the work. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is not only did he exploit his laborers, he exploiting the people who he's selling the Microsoft products to, because you might go out and buy a Microsoft product, Xbox One for $600, when it's really worth about $200 to put together. You understand what I'm saying? But they just mark it up because they know it's a hot item. So again, that's just my understanding of the exploitation going on in this whole society, and the whole thing needs to change.
The scenario with the pay the laborers that they're supposed to be paid. Like when I go back to another guy who used that technique, the same technique that Microsoft used back in the day, was Don King. He paid what's them boys, all them famous boxers, way more than every boxer has ever been paid. In turn, he received more than any promoter has ever got.
Yeah, but I know. But any true business or any true person who studied economics know Don King exploited the hell out these boxers, especially Mike. So even though they were getting big checks, Don King was still bad.
How did that success come about though? How were they the highest paid boxers and he was the highest paid promoter? How did that happen, bro? Because he gave them more than everybody else gave people, and in turn he received more than everybody else received.
Well, because if more money come in, of course both ends are gonna make more money. If more money coming in, I mean, all Don did was promote it. He probably brought in more viewers on pay-per-view. You never know. But when more money comes in, both people win, and both people are gonna get more than ever recorded. So, but, I just wanted to bring out them few scriptures. Just remember, Ecclesiastes said, sin sticks close to buying and selling. And that's the point I wanted to drive home.
Okay.
So with that, man, do your thing, and I'll listen for the rest of the time.
I appreciate your information, brother. All right, we got another caller here, 770-648. Live on Debate Talk for you.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, this is Swordsman again. Yeah, I just want to add to the brother because the brother said something about the slavery comment and how he felt that because he didn't get lashes that he's really not in slavery. I want to read something. This is Deuteronomy 28 verse 43, where there's another component to captivity and slavery too that we're living in right now. Not just because we're not getting lashes on our backs. And this is it. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. That's the position we're in now. Then it says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Now, if you look at us as a nation, we have to go and get money and resources from another nation. So this is how you know you're still in captivity. Then it says, he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. We're the tail. Why? Because we're not running or ruling anything, and we don't control any resources at the end of the day. Then it says, I'm going to go to the 47th verse. It says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. This is how you get your resources through the Most High. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So when you want your water, when you want your money, when you want your gold, any resources, we have to go to other nations to get it. This is how you know you're still in captivity, and we can't forget that. Just because we're not getting lashes on our backs, don't think that we're not out of slavery. We have the, if we don't run anything, we don't run the resources and control the resources as a people, we're still in captivity. That's all I wanted to put out.
Hi, Dabar, you want to reply?
Oh, yes, sir. I think, that is absolutely correct. And I mean, this has been discussed on this show before, so everyone out there has to realize that this is a form of captivity. When I think of slavery, it's a little harsher, and all this harsh whippings and the chains and hangings and the lynchings and all that stuff. But we're still in captivity for sure, because we have to go to the nations to get everything. So we need to gather our own resources and have them built up enough so that we can support ourselves and lend to them.
Okay. Yeah, that's why the Lord have to do it, because those people that have those resources, they not just going to give it. It's going to take warfare. Just like it took warfare for them to get it, it's going to take warfare for us to get it back. And we're not that powerful enough to even think about it. That's why the Lord have to bring them down to size. I mean, it makes sense to me, you know.
Yeah. He's going to bring them down because the only thing they can depend on is retardation. They hoard all the gas and oil and all this stuff and the money. So whenever that whole situation becomes no power for them, how they gonna fly the plane? And plus, also at the same time, people's psyche are gonna be changing and being like, "Why are you making me kill all these people?" I don't think they could go through with it like they did over there in Germany, Nazi Germany.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Americans can be that ruthless. Oh, but they're trying to bring in the Russians and the Chinese to be that ruthless, right? But I mean, like I said, this is a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic. Well, great wisdom, brother. Great wisdom, man. I have to commend you on that.
All right, brother. You said you had some more scriptures you want to put out there. Put some more scriptures out there, and we can pretty much wrap it up. Anybody else that has any more questions, you know the number, 646-716-7320. But yeah, you can put out a few more scriptures, brother.
Okay. We could end with this one right here, Luke 16:10. This is a real good one. He who is faithful in very little things is faithful also in much, and he who is unrighteous in a very little thing is unrighteous also in much. So as we go about creating our businesses and getting our money and gathering our resources, we need to have balanced weights. We need to pay the laborers what they're worth, and in turn, you will get much more than the other companies would. And then also, the most businesses that are in place now do not do this. So that's the complaint that I'm hearing from the audience, you know what I'm saying, about the capitalistic society. But it's just, all that is the greed of the wicked men that are causing that thing to happen like that. And it's not this, because God put it in place.
All right, so now I'm getting some email questions again. How can we utilize what you taught to the listening audience today to our lives right now? How can we utilize this way of using money and stuff like that?
Okay, well, the practicality of this lesson is basically to shift the psyche of people who have not read the Bible, and people who Hello.
Yeah, I still hear you, our brother War.
Okay.
You got the bar.
Okay, yeah. You got the psyche shift that needs to occur to the listener is somebody that's new to the faith. Maybe they gave their life to Christ last week or something, and is that the Bible encourages the accrual of money and the gathering of resources, and encourages you to be financially wealthy. But it's all that physical that's going to be a part of your kingdom of God is going to come from your mind. So you have to fill your mind with the word first by some of the elders that's in the audience, and then that your steps, your application of that mental process and all the things that go along with it is going to produce financial success. It's automatic. I mean, that's basically as simple as I can put it.
All right, yeah, I'm back. Yeah, once again, listen to Debate Talk Free Radio. Definitely appreciate you for being on the show, brother, and bringing forth that knowledge out here. Once again, you did good. You did a good job, man, for the first time. You did a good job, brother. And like I said, if anybody that want to be on the show, if you want to send me an email, the email, that's debatetalkforyou@gmail.com. So how tell us how was your experience, brother? How did you like this experience for your first time, man?
Wow, it was nerve-wracking. It was very nerve-wracking. But
it was cool with us.
This is the thing I love. I love trying to work for His kingdom and trying to do my little part.
Right.
So it was incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Well, anytime you want to do a future lesson, man, to send me an email once again, or just go to facebook.com/debatetalkforyou as you did, and we can definitely set up something for the future, brother.
All righty.
All right, man. Take care, man. I appreciate you.